wonderful stats for you. So 23 at bats for Leury Garcia.
Oof.
Leury Garcia has been on base once. No walks. I mean, to his credit, he does only have 4 strikeouts. So that is an achievement for him because he does like to do his fair share of chasing. So I will say that is a positive for him, is that he has a double to his credit. So that's good. I mean,
1 for 23 with a double.
yeah, but yet he's got 23 at bats. You know who doesn't have 23 at bats? Jake Berger. He's got
Jake
20
Berger
at bats.
Yeah,
He has 20 at bats, and he's batting 300 with a 333 OBP and a 500 slugging. Good for an 833 OPS. Now, do you want to tell me why? I mean, other than that day where Josh Harrison left the game when he tweaked his back, and the next day where he was out resting his back, why you would even consider moving Josh Harrison to third base and putting Leury at second base instead of putting in Jake Berger. And I do not want to hear about platoon splits. I do not want to hear it. Like
No.
I'm so tired of this dance of, oh well, we just gotta, this reminds me, and I'm not saying that Leury is not going to bounce back and hit his normal 240 that he hits every year, or 250 or whatever,
Yeah,
I'm not
whatever
saying that that's not going to happen. However, when I sit here and watch him, and this happened last year, same exact thing, is that he was forced into the lineup for like a month straight and didn't hit. And then all of a sudden, when it got like decently warm outside, he started hitting better. And I'm not saying that, the weather has anything to do with this. I'm not saying anything has anything to do with anything. But I will tell you this. I don't want to see 100 at-bats from this idiot where he's batting 050,
Well, here's my take on the whole thing is, at bats, whatever his number is at the moment, why is your utility player, your utility man? He has been given that label since day one. That label has not changed. Unless you're talking to Tony La Russa, who says TLR, or I'm sorry, says Leury is an everyday player. Well, the only reason he's an everyday player is because Tony puts him in every day. But why is your utility man playing more than guys who have a solid single position that they play on the field, that they were drafted for, that they have been trained and they have honed their craft to do?
Yeah, so this is something that I thought about earlier this week and that I wanted to bring up here when I knew that this Leury thing would come up. And
It
it
was
says
inevitable.
if he was a Yolmer level defender, I could get it. But he's not. He's not close. I'd much rather see Mendick. Now, I can't say that I would necessarily rather see Mendick. I would rather that Romy Gonzalez be here, even though he's had kind of a rough time down in Charlotte with his defense. I think he's got like 4 errors at shortstop, which, whatever. Yeah,
Right.
that's not good. But I've seen him play defense, and he plays a decent defense. He's not, I don't expect him to be a great defender, but he hits. Now, the
Yes.
thing about Leury is that you've had this drilled into your head that, A, that he's a utility player, or B, by our good buddy, who has told you that he is an everyday player at multiple positions. He's not a utility player.
There's old Tony.
Yes.
The old Tony turkey trot.
So here's the thing about Leury is, if you're looking at his batting numbers and you are not impressed, well, guess what? You shouldn't be because they're not very good. But because you're told that he's a utility player and that he can play so many positions and he's so useful because he's so versatile. Here's the thing. Last year, Leury Garcia, 2.2 WAR, which is a hair above replacement level baseball player. All of that WAR was from his offense, which was slappy with an occasional home run. Yes, I understand he hit a home run in the playoff game. Way to go, dude. But none of his WAR value, none was from his defense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you are a utility player and you are useful at so many different positions, should you not be looked at as a positive when you are in that position? Because that's not what I see when I see Leury Garcia play defense, is that I don't actually see him doing anything positive when it comes to helping. I almost positive that he's got he had 2 errors the other day, and he had another error that I think he's got 4 errors already this year. And I understand that Yolmer Sanchez, the year that he won his Gold Glove, he also started terrible, and everybody wanted to launch him into the sun, and then he ended up winning a Gold Glove. But you know what? The difference is that Leury doesn't have a track record of being a great defender. He has a track record of being a decent hitter and
a mediocre defender.
A decent glove with a good arm.
Right.
But the thing
is, that's funny thing is that you bring up with the good arm is that a couple of his errors, if I'm not mistaken, at least, well, we know one was a throwing error. An awful one, to be honest with you. If you recall, if you watched that game the other day, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't get it, Like, I don't understand. And the thing is that they signed him to a 3-year deal. He's a utility man, and they signed him to a 3-year, $18 million contract as a utility guy. When you had plenty of guys that could come up, you had Yolbert Sanchez, who's killing the ball, by the way. You had Romy Gonzalez, who plays second base, shortstop, and all the outfield positions. When he was drafted, was announced as an outfielder, and he played his first full year almost in the outfield. You had a bunch of guys. Then you signed Josh Harrison, who is also capable of playing every position on the field except for catcher. And you signed him to be your everyday second baseman after you had already signed this dope to a 3-year, $18 million contract. And, the thing is, like I said, I'm not expecting this to be Leury's output for the entire year. But the thing is we know what he is. And it's not a plus on either side of the baseball. He is a guy that he's a warm body that if somebody gets injured that you can plug him into a bunch of places. But the thing is that you're not going to see any positive results when you put him in those places.